It was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, just like
and still did not make this film a musical.
No.
I hated it. It added nothing to the plot.
It happened and I was like, Anna's gonna hate this.
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My
Of the music
I agree. This did feel like a very, very dark Singing in the Rain.
They were like, oh yeah, remember that movie? Let's make it lighter. And then they made...
Let's make it worse.
And then they made Singing in the Rain.
Let's make it sad. And the story doesn't really change from iteration to iteration.
Well, so I have never seen any of them. I have not seen the Barbara version. I have not seen the Gaga version.
You went in blind.
I mean, I know the general concept of like a lady, an older star, he thinks she's special, helps her with her career, he falls down, drunkenness ensues.
He falls down!
I don't know why that was the
Oh well? Like...
stuck in the All Valley Mill. And so...
You gotta be more specific of where he fell.
His career fell. And...
His career took a big
and then
tumble.
he dies,
and then he dies.
I also feel like we should start this whole episode by giving a bit of a trigger warning for alcoholism and eventually suicide.
Oh god. Alright, and if you couldn't tell, welcome back to 5, 6, 7, 8, a movie musical podcast, and if you couldn't tell from the intro, we are doing the 1954 A Star is Born.
Indeed, this is
starring
the
Judy Garland.
And we didn't do the original 30s version because that one is not a musical. There is precisely one
this
song.
isn't?
This isn't either.
Either.
But there's more singing and there is dancing.
Yes, you are right. There is singing, there is dancing. It just does not technically fall within
our parameters of a musical.
Criteria musical. But one would say there's too much singing in this film. I would say there's so many pointless, pointless.
I know. I would say that there is 2 songs that actually have use.
I don't know. There's a lot of bold, creative choices in this.
So we watched this on different platforms, and I have a question because there was something interesting that happened in mine, where there was a whole section where they didn't have video.
Yeah, it was like photography with audio.
Yeah, because there were sections of this movie that have been lost or cut.
Oh, see, I thought that was just an artistic choice.
No, I think this is the remastered version. So the one that was released originally was less time. It was about 154 minutes. This one is 3 hours long, y'all. Jesus fucking Christ. So, and then they re-released it with missing bits that sort of clarified the audio story for more. They had the audio, but they didn't have the video.
I totally buy that. I meant to look it up. This just took 3 hours of my life, and I couldn't spend any more time thinking about it afterwards. But yes, there was more than one section where there were just stills, like photo stills from clearly parts of the film that had survived with dialogue over top of it. And I just thought,
weird.
Interesting. And I moved on with my life.
I'm pretty sure because they made a lot of cuts because they were like, this movie's too long. And everyone was just like, correct. And they made a lot of cuts for the original box office premiere or the original movie, whatever. And then I want to say it was in like the 70s or 80s, they did a remastering of it and added in some stuff. But there was some video footage that had been lost and isn't available anymore. So they just put in the audio.
Yeah. You want to get this road on the show?
Yeah. All right, we start.
2 hours and 55 minutes of this road.
Jesus.
I skipped through the opening credits. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw the runtime, I was just like, no.
None of this. So
none of this, absolutely
we
not.
start at a benefit show, and again, there's going to be a lot of parallels to Singing in the Rain, and I'm just going to keep bringing them up because I was just like, wow, this is very similar plot lines.
It is Hollywood
opening night.
50s? Is it supposed to be modern
I think
day?
it's either modern day or like just the previous decade, like the 40s or something.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, based on the fashion alone, it's 50s.
Yeah.
It's early
So it's
50s.
either late 40s, early 50s, something like that. It's like a benefit show, Night of the Stars. We get the red carpet. Again, same energy as the opening for Singing in the Rain, where we get a couple of people who are entering on, and this is, what's his name? Niles? Oliver Niles, the head of the studio?
Oliver Niles.
So he's the head of the studio.
I called him Oliver the entire film.
I didn't have a
Oliver
name for him for half of this.
Because the studio is called Niles Studio.
So he arrives and his date or whatever speaks into chats to the audience or whatever. And there is mentioned in this interaction where they're speaking into a microphone that the main draw for this night is someone named Norman Maine, who's a big idol kind of star, Hollywood star. And then as they make their way in, someone comes to talk to Oliver and is like, hey, Norman's not here. Norman's missing. So everyone takes their seats for this performance to begin. And finally, Oliver gets word.
So I'm not sure if you said this. It's a charity event for the Motion Picture Relief Fund. It's a benefit, which means there's a lot of different musical
There's a lot of different acts going on.
It's not just a single show.
Right.
It's numerous acts. Norman Maine is definitely the headliner, supposed to be one of the big acts. He's not there. The producer, Oliver, is just like, all right, we're going to skip his part. Sucks to suck. He's not here. But then Oliver gets tapped on the shoulder. Surprise, Norman is here, and he is capital D drunk. And Oliver says, all right, he's definitely not allowed on stage. And we get a long sequence of Norman stumbling drunkenly around backstage and fucking with other, playing jokes and grabbing costumes and props. Don't touch other people's things. He is, and also so many sheets to the wind. Man.
And it's also made clear that this is not the first time this has happened. This is a common occurrence for him. So, the head of the PR department for this studio, his name is Libby. So Libby tries to distract Norman and kind of lead him away from the stage so that he doesn't cause a scene when he realizes that he's not going to be allowed to be on stage in his current condition. And so he's like, oh, there's all of these press people that want to get pictures and want to have an interview. And so he takes him away from the stage and into his dressing room, and they do all of these pictures, and Norman's loving the attention, but still very drunk. And then he's like, oh no, I must be on stage. And they try to stop him, and he ends up pushing Libby through a mirror and breaking a bunch of things and then heading towards the stage. Now, they have told the act that was supposed to be scheduled on directly after Norman that they're just going to go now. So they have gone on stage, and this is a
big band. A full piece, or it's a full band and 3 singer-dancers, 2 men and 1 woman. The woman is a young Judy Garland. The song they're singing is Gotta Have Me With You. We learned that Judy Garland's character's name is Esther Blodgett.
What a great name.
During this performance, Norman gets away from his wranglers and fully wobbles onto the stage. The spotlight people are like, do we put the light on him? Do we keep it on the performers? And Esther saves face for him by kind of taking him by the hand and incorporating him into the act, and also the way you play nice with drunk people where you're like, all right, we're gonna dance over here and then we're gonna dance you off the stage.
But he keeps kind of pulling her back on stage, so eventually they finish the number and he gets a big bow and there's a bunch of applause and the audience is like, that was a bit weird but fun, cool, whatever.
Cool, that was Norman Maine.
Well, he was supposed to be on here anyway, so I guess that was what his thing was. Eventually she gets him off stage. Now, after the show, backstage, Esther's getting ready to leave, and she's like, oh my god, that was so nerve-wracking. Was I on pitch? I couldn't even hear myself. I can't, ugh.
She's talking to her friend Benny, who is the pianist from this Danny, who's the pianist from this band, and she's like, oh my god, I can't,
that was horrible.
What a nightmare, did I even sound good? And Danny makes a comment.
Or no, Esther makes the comment.
Oh, right.
How does
Esther
he still
makes
have a
comment.
career?
I don't even know. Yeah, how is he still in pictures? And of course, that's when it's revealed that Norman's standing right behind her, and he, still many sheets to the wind, commemorates her and thanks her for saving him, takes her lipstick.
Brand new lipstick. Rude.
Brand new lipstick, writes in red lipstick on the brick wall backstage of the theater,
a big heart.
E and Esther saved Norman. And then he invites her to have dinner with him, and she's like, no, like, that's weird.
And she also is like, oh, like, we actually have another gig that we go to after this to perform at the Grove, so no. And so he kind of threatens her and the piano player, Danny, but she is a master distraction, and, like, kind of, like, takes his hand and and, like, spins him in, like, verbal circles until someone else appears who knows Norman, and then she kind of, like, pushes him towards them and then runs away. Now,
just like, oh, look over there, push.
But now somehow she's leaving and she was like, oh, he's actually kind of nice. And I was like, none of that interaction made me think that you thought he was nice. Like,
no,
it didn't
You're
make
just
sense.
Being charmed by none
of their relationship made sense.
Nice. He is nice-ish to her. He's not mean to her. He's
to, like, punch Danny if they don't go out to dinner together.
But he's almost British, and so it's a little jovial. I don't know. Anyway. Later, where we cut to Norman's house, his butler is picking up his clothes off the ground, and Libby, the PR manager, is there looking over a passed out Norman on the bed, and Libby comments that he's just like, he's had enough of Norman's bullshit. He's always having to clean up Norman's messes.
Libby hates Norman.
Yeah. And Libby talks to the butler and says, just be sure he's ready to go at 6 a.m. tomorrow. We're putting him in a car and we're shipping him off to his next set.
I don't care if
he
he's
won't even
awake
wake
or
up
not,
till he's
but,
halfway
like,
there.
just put him in a car.
Just, like, make sure he gets in the car. Then, in the middle of the night, Norman wakes up.
Oh, no.
And he's like, I have to go and find that woman. They, like, hid his car keys, but he got them back. He should not be driving.
No.
He drives to the Grove
because she had mentioned that that's where
Esther.
they were performing. Yeah. It's like 2 a.m.
But he's missed her. Yeah. He's missed her. But the manager of the Grove knows who he is. And Norman kind of asks, like, oh, well, like, I was here. I want to see this musician girl. And the bar manager is like, well, she's not here anymore, but we have all these other lovely ladies. And there's this, like, bit of, like, I don't know, I know that person. No, I don't want to go out with that person. And eventually, Norman gets the details of where Esther actually is.
Yeah, so apparently they go to
a bar
another
where all the
place.
musicians go after.
Yeah, and where they just, like, practice new songs and, like, hang around, and it's a good time.
Now, I got big musical theater kids going to a diner after a show vibes from this next scene because the musicians have essentially closed down this bar and are just, like, riffing on the piano that's there. All the chairs are flipped over on the tables. Like, this bar staff, God, do they want to go home?
Like,
but these musicians do not care. There's been 15 glasses of milk and a single basket of French fries purchased. Please
just
go
leave.
home.
And so he somehow finds this bar, and and she's there, and the band's all jamming, and then Danny, I think he's the band leader, or at least he's, like, I don't know.
I thought he was the pianist / He's not the leader because he gets the leader to let her back.
Oh, that's true. That's
later.
true. Yeah. And so he is just like, oh, go ahead, sing the song. And she sings the song, "The Man That Got Away." And she's so good. Like, and it's so interesting because I feel like the Judy Garland songs that I'm familiar with are from when she's a bit younger. So she's 32 when she does this movie. And so obviously Meet Me in St. Louis and Wizard of Oz, her voice is a bit younger. And it feels like she has really matured into her voice and has more vocal control over it. And she fucking eats this song. And it, like, blew my mind because I don't think I've ever actually heard her do this song before.
And they did it in all, I mean, I know they pre-recorded it, but this whole shot, it's all one take of the entire song, which I thought was really, really
I was honestly blown away. It's like, I know Judy Garland's good, but I was just like, I've never heard this before, and I'm actually overwhelmed. She's incredible. So anyway, Norman is equally blown away.
Yeah, Norman is equally bamboozled.
Well, it's so funny because Danny looks over and he's like, fuck, how did he find us? And so Esther goes over and is like, I'll get rid of him. And he tries to explain how he felt listening to her sing, and he explains it horribly. Like, really bad. He's like, you know what it's like when you're fishing? And she's like, what? It's like, or like, you know, when you see a good match. And she's like, so am I a fighter or a fish? I'm very confused.
The dialogue was funny in this film.
Yeah.
There were a lot of really good, like, quippy
Oh, my
one-liners.
giggle is
and after
later on,
Evita,
and I'll tell you that line when I get to it. It's so funny.
God, after Evita, I just
God.
needed a little bit of, like, fun
Levity,
dialogue.
yeah.
And this is a depressing film, but at least we have some good one-liners. So Norman, instead of getting rid of Norman, Esther essentially allows herself to be hoodwinked by Norman, and he gets her to let him drive her home so that he can keep asking her questions. Amongst those, he goes, "What are you doing wasting your time with a band like this? You're remarkable. You shouldn't be doing this." And she goes, I have worked so hard to get to this point. What do you mean? There's more for me to do. This is it. I'm happy.
Exactly. And so he sort of asks her a little bit about her life, and he drives her home, and she ends up inviting him into her, like, the place, the motel, I guess, where they're staying. Because the band is not here long term. They're like a traveling band.
They're leaving for, like, San Francisco
in the morning. Yeah. And so she shows him, like, her scrapbook of her life. It's all very adorable. But he tells her that, you know, she has the opportunity to be something bigger, and that her dreams are too small, and that if she stays, he will get her a screen test.
He says it nicer than that, but he does say your dreams
but
are
he does.
too small.
Yeah. He's like, tell me your dreams. Like, when you see, like, your ideal life, tell me what you want to happen. She explains it, and he's like, you're thinking too small. The talent that you have is bigger than that. And he's like, listen, I will get you a screen test. Please just stay in LA. I will call you in the morning, sleep on it, and let me know. And then he does the whole line that we all know from this movie, which is, you know, he's about to leave, and he was like, wait, I just want to take another look at you. And then he does the weird, like, shoe gesture, and I was just like, you ruined it. You ruined it.
What shoe gesture? What shoe gesture?
Like, he waves her away after he takes a look at her, and I'm just like, all right, fuck off. You ruined it.
All right,
it was a potential moment.
I didn't clock that. And I said, all caps, this is a bad idea. Do not follow this man.
Yeah, absolutely.
All caps.
So Norman gets back to his place, and he calls Oliver, the head of the studio, in the middle of the night, and he's like, I found this girl, and Oliver is just like, I very much would like to sleep right now.
Yeah, you're drunk. Call me in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what Norman does? He drinks more, and he goes to bed.
And passes out.
Esther can't sleep. Because she just got brought home by Norman Maine, a movie star. It's like the equivalent of, like, Brad Pitt bringing you home. Like 90s 2000s Brad Pitt.
And you're just like...
I guess Norman's a little older than that. She's like, oh, God. And she lives in the same building complex as her friend Danny,
well, this is the
musician.
motel. I'm pretty sure everyone is staying there.
I guess so. That's probably right. I was just thinking of how there are, like, boarding houses, or there were. And she's like, I can't sleep. Danny, are you awake? And she goes, like, up the stairs to go visit him, and she goes, so I don't know how to say this, but I'm gonna quit the band. I'm gonna stay in Los Angeles. And he says, like a normal person, what the fuck are you talking about? She tells him about the screen test, and he says she's full of baloney, but she's like, I don't want to miss this chance. And he calls her a fool, but the sun is rising on her life, and literally the sun is rising outside this motel. I'm like, what could go wrong?
So many things can go wrong.
Dear reader, you know what goes wrong? This part of the film is lost.
Yeah, there's no part of this
the
film.
Next part.
This is where it's just stills.
Photos. And audio.
To just speed through this bit where we don't have anything but audio. Basically, remember when Libby was just like, get him in the car if he's awake or not? Yeah, he gets taken away while he's still passed out and wakes up at sea where he's filming a movie.
Cut to the sea.
One fun fact is that
I threw that in there for you.
Thank you. One fun fact is that the actor who plays Norman, his next film was 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Good for him. He was probably, it's a premonition.
So anyway,
before we cut to Norman being kidnapped and taken to sea by his manager or his driver, we also see and hear through audio Esther waving off the band.
Goodbye.
And again, like Danny's like, this is a bad idea. And we see Norman pass out in the car. And we hear that he's going to be at sea for like 3 months. And that means she never got
phone
call from him.
Oh, no.
she doesn't get a screen test, and there's stills of her like washing her hair and then waiting by a pool. And then cut to the ocean. Yeah. Norman is shooting his film. The director calls cut. They get roped back in because they were on a lifeboat shooting it in a wide. And immediately Norman to his assistant is like, have you found out where she lives yet? And the assistant's like, there are 300 locations of that street that you gave me. Do you remember any other details?
Like, something
like,
to do with the flower.
Call them all.
Like, so he's like, go to every single one. It's just absurd. And so he's still obviously very obsessed with this. But not only, so the movie wraps, but then he actually falls ill. So he got sick.
Okay, question. We hear he has the flu. And I want to know if he actually pretends to be sick and just calls out and looks for her.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's never followed up on that he got sick.
There's no video, so I don't know what the context was.
Yeah. Anyway, Esther has had to move into like a women's dormitory essentially, and we hear in audio that she got a phone call and she actually got a job singing for a commercial, and she's so excited. But it's a shampoo commercial, and it's really weird. There's like marionettes. You don't see her at all. You just hear her voice singing about this shampoo. Yeah. Immediately after this, we see her getting a long distance call from Danny. He goes, I talked to the manager, like, we can get you back on tour. We're like somewhere in the Midwest or something. And she goes, no, I don't want to. I'm doing really well. But
she's waitressing.
Pan out, and she's at like a drive-in burger place. Norman continues to search for Esther. He found her old apartment, but she doesn't live there anymore.
He has a bit of a confrontation with the woman that runs that place. He's like, Oleander! No wonder I couldn't remember the name.
That woman is my hero. She had no time.
No time for this man.
Then we cut to Norman's bachelor pad, and we meet a character that we met at the very beginning of this film,
Oliver's
named Lola,
date.
Who's her name's Lola Lavery or something, and she reminds me a bit of what's-her-face from Singing in the Rain. Not Singing, what's that character's name?
Lena Lamont.
Lena Lamont. It's the double L's. Not quite as annoying, but a similar, just like...
A little bit ditzy.
A little bit ditzy, like, convinced Norman's in love with her. Yeah. And they're arguing, because she was like, after your next picture, you said you were going to take me to Honolulu. Yeah. And they're arguing while the TV is going, and Esther's commercial comes on. And again, she's not in it, but as they're arguing, Norman's like, I know that voice. How do I know that voice? Oh my god, it's Esther! And then we see Norman just like driving around Hollywood. I guess he got her address from the payroll of the shampoo commercial. Yeah. Anyway, he gets to her house. She's not there. Like, he goes into her room to the house. Into her room! Who let him in?
I don't know. Anyway, she's not there.
But she's not there.
He despondently leaves. There's a bunch of kids fucking around with his car, and so he starts yelling.
Yeah, because he left his nice convertible, like, hot rod. Yeah. And all this neighborhood kids are like honking the horn.
He's
and
like,
then...
get away from that. And then from the roof, we have Esther, who is up there tanning. I don't know. And
yeah, she's sunbathing.
And she hears him yelling, and she's like, I know that voice. And so she looks over, and she's like, hello, come on up. And he makes it clear that he's been like looking for her this whole time, and she's like over the moon.
She's like, I know that voice yelling at children anywhere. They go to dinner, and she's giddy to see him, and he's like, I still owe you a screen test. Let's do the screen test as soon as possible. Then I was very confused
as well. It looked like she was in like a doctor's surgery.
Like a plastic surgeon's office. And because as we see her next... We cut straight to the interior, so we don't know where this is. It looks like a plastic surgeon's office, and she's sitting in the chair in all white, like a surgical gown, and 3 white doctor-looking men are like poking and prodding her face, being like, oh, the nose is the worst thing, and then the ears are too big, the chin is too small, yada yada yada. And they're like, oh, we could give her like the Garbo brows, or no, we really need to fix this nose.
And it was very weird, and I was unclear as to what was happening. And
then we cut outside. We learn it's a makeup department. Yeah. We see Norman bounding up the stairs to go find Esther. We see Esther come out of a door.
But she doesn't look like herself.
She doesn't look like herself. She's heavily bronzed. She's got prosthetics on her face. She's in this bubblegum pink chiffon
and like a wig on.
A yellow blonde wig. And she's like, hi, Norman. And he's like, oh, no, not now. She's like, Norman. He goes like, I don't want to talk to you right now. She's like, Norman, it's me. And he goes,
oh, no.
Oh, no. What happened? Oh, no.
And so he takes her.
And he laughs at her. He takes one look at her.
Bursts out
and
laughing.
Laughs at
and
her.
Poor girl is just like so traumatized by all of these horrible people telling her everything that's wrong with her. And so he takes her into his dressing room and is just like, okay, let's clean all of this off. Let's get this fixed. Like, takes off her wig and like rubs cleaner on her face.
Yeah, he like grabs like Pond's cold cream. I did think this was a really nice moment though, because he's essentially like, they're trying to change everything that I like about you. Take off all that makeup, take off that prosthetic nose, and just like undo everything.
Just
that
do your makeup the way you normally do, and then I'll do final touch-ups. Like,
yeah. And then unclear if they're doing the camera test in his dressing room. You know what it was? I thought they went back to his house. Oh. You're right. It's totally his dressing room on set, or just at the studio. That makes a lot more sense.
And then we cut to her first day. Like, she's been hired now as like a...
Oh, but one really quick thing is she finishes putting her makeup back on, and she gets super, super nervous. Like, the seriousness of the situation really hits her, and she's like, I'm shivering. He puts his coat around her, and she's like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I'm
very nervous.
I'm in like the big leagues here. And he was like, because she has to sing for her screen test. And he says, don't worry about it. If you need to like focus on anything, just sing like you're singing in that bar at 3 a.m. Just singing for yourself, not for anyone else. Yeah. I liked this scene.
Well, and also she's like, I'm very nervous. And he was like, we're all nervous. What makes you special? Like, and so then she is hired. We don't really see that, and we don't see her screen test. Yeah,
she gets a contract. There's a silly scene where she's like, go to the publicity office.
It's like led in circles on her first day.
Hullabaloo. Yeah. No one really has time to meet her. It's very, very shallow Hollywood vitriol. However, we do learn that they are going to change her name. Yes. They're like, Esther Blodgett, terrible stage name. We gotta get you a new name. Yeah. But it's not said what it is there. Yeah. We then see Esther on her first job on set, essentially being a parts model. Yeah. Where she's
the stand-in, really.
Is to, yeah, she says,
I thought she was a stand-in because they didn't want to see her face.
No, because stand-ins don't ever actually get shot. She's a body double. Okay. Stand-ins are just there for lighting. She was a body double for like waving, probably the principal actress like waving a hand with a handkerchief out of this window. But you're right, the director is like, you fucked it up because I saw your face. I don't want to see your face.
I know, and then there's a really funny scene where she does it again, and she's like, hand out the window, and she's like leaning her face as far away as she possibly can.
As possible.
It's very silly.
Hollywood's so glamorous, but she gets paid. She gets to go pick up her first paycheck, and that is when she learns that without consulting her at all, the studio has renamed her. Her new stage name is Vicky Lester.
Yes. And she has a moment where she like grabs her paycheck and she like steps off to the side and she's like, Vicky Lester.
Vicky Lester.
Yeah. Vicky Lester. And then just like walks out and she's like,
that's me.
All right, cool.
I did have to, for the rest of the film, I kept calling her Vicky.
Me too.
And when I finished my notes, I like went back, found all the times, like Control F'd, and changed them back to Esther, because I was like, I'm gonna confuse myself if I keep calling her Vicky.
Vicky is her like stage name, and her friends, and obviously Norman and Oliver still call her Esther.
And all her fans. Yeah. But all the fans know her as Vicky.
Yeah.
And when the studio is talking about her, they refer to her as Vicky.
Yeah.
But when they talk to her, she's Esther.
Then we get a scene where Norman fully swindles Oliver, and it's great.
I loved it.
And so
I loved it so much.
Norman has heard that there's a big musical that they're having trouble finding the star. They had someone coming in from New York, but now there's like some contract troubles where the show that she was in, she's still technically contracted to, and she had told them that she wasn't. And so they're like, who do we get to do this? We have to start
It's a big Hollywood headache.
Truly. And so Norman summons Oliver out from his office and is just like, oh, I hear, like, my dressing room is so bad. Like, and he's a fake reason. And Oliver's just like, I have so much on my plate. I can't believe you brought me here for this. And
why the fuck
did you bring me here? And during this, Norman opens the door, and I think they must have recorded her sound test.
Yeah, and I thought she was literally just like
outside
behind the
window
singing.
I thought so too.
up at the balcony. No, I think it's right. I think it was a recording.
Yeah, I think it was a recording of her screen test, but she's singing the song that we heard her sing in the bar, which is like the big belty, incredible. And so Norman like opens the door so that the sound just kind of drifts in because he has like a recording set up outside on the balcony or whatever. And Oliver's just like, I can't hear myself think, and like slams the door shut. So he goes in,
and Norman like reaches behind and like opens it again,
and eventually kind of swindles him. And he was like, "Oh, that's actually rather good." And he's like, "Are you sure? There's no one here in Los Angeles who could play this part." And so finally,
and when Oliver starts to really get intrigued, Norman's like, "Oh, she just signed a new contract."
Yeah.
And at one point, Oliver turns back around rather suddenly and catches Norman like hands clasped in front of him, pleading at Oliver's back, and Oliver's like, "Oh, I see what's happening.
Oh, okay.
oh, I'm catching up."
Yeah,
but Esther gets the job.
And
it's like it's a big
deal.
leading musical.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we are on our way to the preview of the film. And Norman and she's obviously very nervous, and Norman tries to give her some advice, but she's so nervous that they pull over. Does she pull over to throw up? It's not
clear. Does she
clear.
throw up in an oil? Is it in like an oil field?
I think so. That was what happened, right?
I couldn't tell if she threw up or not, but she just like walked off, and it was really, really dark, and I couldn't see where she was.
And then she comes back,
and then
she's
she
like,
just gets
okay.
back in the car. They arrive at the theater, and there's really, really quick bit of dialogue. Norman parks the car, they walk out, Norman sees the marquee, and he goes, "Oh, we're in luck." And Esther's like, "Why did the theater burn down?" and Norman's like, no, my movie was directly before yours, and I know for a fact that movie's garbage. So everyone's going to be really wanting to see actually something good quality, which you are. Yeah. So it's going to put them in even higher. It's going to make your film look even better.
Yeah, exactly. And so then we see clips from this movie, which is another musical number. So we get this medley called Born in a Trunk.
We get a film within a film.
Yeah. Called Born in a Trunk, which is honestly basically the story of Judy Garland and how she came out to be where she was born, like, from actor parents who were, like, on vaudeville, and they put her on stage, and, like, oh, it's a whole deal.
Yeah.
It's big gotta dance energy, pulling back to Singing in the Rain.
Oh, God, you're
gotta
right.
dance.
It was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, just like
and
gotta
still
dance.
Did not make this film a musical.
No.
I hated it. It added nothing to the plot.
It happened, and I was like, Anna's gonna hate this.
It's not as bad as Gotta Dance.
Oh, it's not as like, good as Gotta Dance.
It's up there. Yeah, it's just, I just didn't. It was a musical film within a musical film, and neither of them were musicals.
Anyway, this is intermission.
Yeah, that took me by surprise.
Yeah, there's like a solid minute and a half of just a screen that says intermission. Wild.
I haven't seen it with actual like time behind it. Yeah. You know, it'll be like intermission for like 5 seconds, then it's like, all right, back to the show.
Yeah, the only time where I've seen it like that is something like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, where they actually had a full musical score underneath it, where it was just like, oh, we're gonna play selections like from this underneath it, so we can't really cut this, or if you do, you just have to skip it yourself. But this was like literally silence for a minute and a half with intermission on it, and I was like, this could have been cut.
Kind of nice, honestly, in that like I stood up and I like cleaned up my desk while I was doing it.
Yeah, whole deal. So
anyway, end of intermission. People love. So this was the first preview. So there's a lot of fans, a lot of press, a lot of producers. At this as well, and everyone is like clamoring afterwards, especially now that they learned that Esther, this new star, so Vicky, the star, was actually at the film.
Yes, and they kind of surround her and are cheering for her. And Norman kind of steps aside a little bit and goes to stand by the car and kind of watches her in admiration.
Although she does go up to him and like clasps his hand and says, thank you. And then all the producers are like, oh, we should go to dinner, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. And so they all go to someone's house or whatever, have drinks, have dinner, and they are, or not house, but like a restaurant, and they've already got some reviews, and it's like 96%
like incredible
satisfaction. Like Vicky Lester. I keep wanting to say Vicky Lake.
Yeah,
Vicky Lester is this star, and Norman takes her away from the crowd. He takes her onto a balcony or like a terrace.
Yeah.
That beautiful view
Stunning.
of the Hollywood Hills. And he goes, take it in for a moment, like look at the horizon, like this is all yours.
Simba.
Look, Simba. Everywhere the light touches is our kingdom. Listen, Lion King was inspired by A Star is Born,
Simba.
1954. I'm just saying. Which came first?
Hey!
A Star is Born or The Lion King?
Which came first, A Star is Born or Hamlet?
Okay, where in Hamlet does it say
Simba.
everything the light touches, Simba? Everything is yours.
Everything is
Show
yours.
me the spark notes. Anyway. And then he tries to break up with her.
Well, but my question is, they weren't even dating. Like, were
No.
they? There's no hint, no reference that they were actually together. It was all
They
very
were
confusing.
roommates.
They were roommates, best friends till the end of their days.
They were buried in the same coffin, holding hands. They were best friends.
Here's a wedding portrait of them. They were best friends.
They were best friends. Okay, he doesn't break up with her, but he essentially tries to like distance himself emotionally
warn
from
her
her.
from him. Like, I'm not good for you. I break everything I touch.
Yeah.
And she's
Leave
like,
me behind.
She's like, I don't care. And they smooch
And they smooch. They make out.
on this balcony.
Which means they're no
now
longer
they're
roommates.
married.
Yeah, cut
Again,
to
big
marriage.
chitty
No.
chitty bang bang energy. It's like, you kissed me. Well, now you have to marry me.
You have to marry me.
Cut to
God.
Vicky recording with a huge orchestra, and she sings the song "Here's What I'm Here For." Again, beautiful, stunning.
Yes, and Norman is watching this recording.
Yes.
And during a instrumental break, Vicky,
Yeah.
she can't bear to be away from him. So instead of like being on her podium in the middle of the room where the microphone is, she like walks over to him and they sit on a set piece and they're just talking. And the chorus comes in, and then it's time for her to it's not really time for her to start singing again, but she's kind of singing under her breath. And a producer makes an eye to a microphone operator, and they like lower a microphone from the ceiling over
The two of them talking.
and Norman.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like talking and singing, but like she's not performing.
No, they're just kind of having a chat, and obviously
they're
some
having
sort
a
of
private
banter.
moment, and a microphone is eavesdropping on them without their consent.
I thought that he set this whole thing up.
Oh, I don't think he has the brains. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit.
I
I
thought
don't
that
care.
he set this up so that they would have a recording of her saying yes to him proposing, and then it turns out wrong.
I don't know.
Unclear. But anyway, so they record
Get
this
in the
private
comments.
conversation, and
And
then
they
they're
record
just
a private
like,
conversation without one party's consent.
no, exactly. And then they're just like, okay, like, Vicky, do you want to come
The
back
producer.
and we'll listen to that take? So it comes back, and they start playing that private conversation, and it is quite funny because he asked her to marry him, and she's like, absolutely not.
She says, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
And it's a very private conversation happening in a very public setting. Like literally all of the orchestra, all of the
Everyone's
musicians,
hearing this.
the music director is hearing, and everyone laughs, and Esther and Norman laugh as well at her saying no thank you. Like it's
Well, and
done
then there's
with
a
levity.
bit of banter between the two of them about like, oh, well, if I said yes, what would you do? And like, he agrees to stop drinking.
Yeah,
And
got it on the record.
and so they like the recording finishes, and she was like, well, after such a public
with
proposal,
her having said yes.
well,
Yeah,
after such a
yeah.
public proposal, how could I say no? And I'm like, by saying no. But anyway, so she agrees, and they're engaged. Congrats.
Yes, and the producers are ecstatic, like the studio owners are ecstatic because it'll be good for business.
Exactly.
And
Well, they go to tell
after they leave,
studio
yeah,
head.
they tell Libby and they tell Oliver,
Mhm.
and as soon as they leave, having delivered the news, Libby's like, all right, we're gonna get it in the front page of every newspaper, we're gonna have a big public wedding, we're gonna make it a spectacle, we'll see if the mayor will give us a half day off,
Yeah.
like off of businesses.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna do everything they can to
make it
this
a
moneymaker
studio
for the
production
studio.
and not like a private thing. Cut to
'Cause-
them get eloping.
eloping in like San Verno.
Exactly.
At a police station courthouse?
Like a courthouse where they have a couple drunks in the drunk tank.
It's
honestly
it's a one-horse town.
It's a one-horse
The horse
town.
is in the drunk tank.
Yeah, exactly. And they marry under their actual names, and that's when it's also revealed that Norman Maine is not his actual name either. His name is something Gubbins.
Gubbins, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his first name. Like
Ernest
Gubbins or something. Ernest and Esther Gubbins. And just at the end when they're signing all the paperwork, the guy is just like, I don't know, you guys look kind of familiar. And they're like, ha ha ha, we get that a lot. And they run out the door.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they want to avoid as much
publicity
they want
as possible.
It to be a private moment.
But
and they're
Danny
like,
is there as their witness.
As their witness, and they're like, we think we got away with it. And then
Libby drives up and he was like, you thought.
You motherfuckers.
Yeah, he's so mad. Remember, he hates Norman.
Yeah.
And just as like Libby's like, okay, but we still like, we have other things that we need to do, they like drive away and like go to a motel in the woods, and that's where they have their honeymoon.
And Libby rants to Danny a little bit, being like, I'm always left cleaning up Norman's messes. The press are going to get mad at me, not at Norman, even though it's completely their fault that they're not be able to like follow through on their promise with like a big public wedding. Not that they didn't promise anything,
but
there was a lot of like, you are a public figure. You owe the public your time.
Yes.
In these old Hollywood studio.
Yeah. We own you.
Mechanisms.
You are under contract.
Yeah. We own you.
Yeah.
We own you whether you are on the lot or not.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so,
then they go to a motel.
Ooh, and they have their honeymoon. And so Esther goes to get cleaned up, and Norman turns on the radio, and it's Vicky's new song. And he asks her to sing something just for him. And this is the one song where I was just like, oh, this almost makes it a musical. Because she sings to him, It's a New World. It doesn't make it a musical, but it, like, if you squinted your eyes and crossed, and, like, blurred out your vision a little bit, it's kind of a musical song. But anyway.
If we hadn't established that this is a song that she performs as a singer-actor and it's on the radio actively, then yes.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It would be a musical.
That's what I said. Squint your eyes and blur them a little bit.
Squint your eyes.
Could be a musical. So she sings this song to them, and it's just and it's just a really, honestly, it's a beautiful, intimate moment for the two of them.
I didn't write down any song titles.
This is called It's a New World.
Well, yes, you had said that. You did say that. Yes. For the entire film, I wrote down no song titles.
That's fine. I did.
Time has passed.
Yes.
They are back home. They live together now. Mm-hmm. And they are throwing a party for their friends. Norman's there, it's his house. Oliver's there. Libby's there. They take everyone into like the
main
movie room and they play a movie.
They're gonna watch a movie.
The point is, Oliver sneaks out and Norman clocks it and also follows him.
Yeah.
And Oliver's like, oh, well, there's a wrestling match I wanted to watch on TV.
He's
and
like, I've already seen
bullshit.
This movie. It's a good movie.
Something's
you guys will
off
enjoy
with
it.
you.
Yeah.
What's up? And Oliver's like, I don't want to talk about it. And Norman's like, you got to talk about it now.
Yeah.
Surprise! Oliver has to deliver the bad news that Oliver's being pressured by the people in New York, who I guess are like, that's where his board of directors is, are pressuring him, even though he's a studio head, to buy Norman out of his contract on the basis that he's too big of a risk now. Yeah. And no one on the board is willing to afford that risk.
Because of his habit of drinking, because of his addiction. And his alcoholism.
What's the word I want? No. It's his, not chaotic, like what's it, like unpredictability. He's very unpredictable. Yeah. They never, like, he was like, gone are the days where you can take off 2 weeks on a drunken binge and, like, the studio will look the other way. Like, they're not willing to. They're not
doing that anymore. You're not bringing in the
afford
money.
That anymore. Yeah.
So, honestly, he takes it pretty well. He's like, I understand. I would like to tell Vicky myself, so please don't tell her. And Oliver agrees. And he goes out.
Yeah. After that, we see Libby in his office drafting a press release about Norman's contract ending, and very much making it seem like it was Norman's decision
to leave the
that
studio. Yeah,
he was they're parting because Norman wanted to explore other opportunities, very much driving that narrative instead of the truth, which is that he got bought out of his contract because the studio forced him to.
Yeah.
Cut to Norman being bored and unemployed at home.
Yeah. And he's like putting golf balls around the house. He gets a call, and it's from like a paparazzi that he knows.
Yeah, like a journalist.
And he's like, "Hey, like, would you help me get an interview with Vicky, with your wife?" And he's like, "I'll do my best." And he's like, "Oh, and I'll throw a line in."
Thinking that,
I'll throw a line in that to let people know that you're still around too. And Vicky gets home, and Norman,
just so happy to see him.
She's so happy.
She's so happy to see him.
She rushed home still in her rehearsal clothes because she's like, I just couldn't wait to see you. And so, and he's made her dinner. He's made the sandwiches and a salad and
big gallon of milk.
Yeah, and she's a bit worried about him being home all day alone, but he asks about her day, and this whole song was pointless, but it was a moment of joy for me.
I agree it was pointless. It was a moment of joy until it was not a moment of joy because it did not age well.
No, it did not age well. I'm talking about the very beginning bit of it, not when it goes into roll bad,
like
stereotypical
and
yeah
racist stereotypes.
Yeah.
I couldn't like it because I knew immediately how pointless it was. I was like, this is not. I'm sorry.
But Judy Garland had such a good time, and you could tell.
This movie is 3 hours long,
and this was where my favorite line happened.
Okay, which is
because she's talking about this sequence, and she's like,
oh well, so give the gist of what she does is essentially perform the number that she was rehearsing all day for Norman.
Yes, because she has like a rehearsal audio of the music so that she could practice at home.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and then it moves into the dream sequence, and she pulls out this thing and starts stroking it like a harp. Yes. And he's like, "There's a harp," and she's like, "There's always a harp in a dream sequence. Don't be silly."
I wrote that down too. I wrote that down as my moment of joy.
I loved that line. Don't be silly. There's always a harp in a dream
always
sequence.
A harp. It really brought me a lot of joy. As much as I despised the song existence, I liked that line.
That line was real funny. And honestly, she just has a blast during this. Like, the actress, you can tell that she has such a fun time.
Oh, yeah.
And what's his name? James
Mason.
I was like, James Marsden.
Not James Marsden.
James Mason, who plays Norman, has like, he looks like he's having a blast, like watching his wife.
Her.
And this is kind of a huge part of their relationship where he's just like, he's so happy that she's happy and like just wants her to succeed, and like her success gives him joy. Despite the fact that he's also struggling with his own feelings about his career falling down. So the song ends.
There's always a harp.
There's always a harp. The song ends, and they're like about to have an intimate moment, but it's interrupted by like the door buzzer that keeps
doorbell
going, and he's like, "Oh, this might be for me. I reached out to a couple directors," and he goes to the door, and it's actually a package for her. And he's very deflated by this, and he goes in, and she like tries.
Well, because the courier is like, this is for Vicky Lester, and he's like, "Oh, I'll sign for it." And he goes, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
He goes, "I'm her husband."
He's like, "Okay, Mr.
And he goes,
Lester."
"Okay, thanks, Mr. Lester."
Oof.
Like completely over his head. You can just see it take the wind out of his sails.
And he goes,
and then he doesn't react well to that. He brings the package in, and she's like, "Oh, what is it?" And he goes, "It's a package for you. Oh, by the way, I have a list of all these people that have called wanting to get a comment from you or schedule an interview for you, or even Art, the reporter who's my friend, was like used me to try and influence you to get an interview." And he's just real shitty about it.
Yeah, and this is where he's struggling with his own self-worth. And he doesn't handle it well. He leaves to go make himself a drink, and he starts drinking again.
Yeah. this felt like a very hard left for me.
Yeah.
And if we had an inkling in a scene or two before, this would have made a bigger impact, but it just felt like, all right, and here's our plot device.
Yeah.
Like,
well, so that was where, so
wheel.
it's like I paused, because I watched like 2 hours last night and then an hour this morning. I paused last night once that song finished and the door buzzer went off, and I was just like, knowing what I know about this plot, it's all downhill from here.
It's
so
all
I'm
downhill
from
here. You were right.
Yep.
You were right.
It's all downhill from here, folks. So
cut to the Oscars, because Vicky's been nominated for an Oscar. She's at the ceremony, and Danny is there, and Oliver is there, and Norman's seat is empty. And she's looking, and her friends Oliver and Danny are like, oh, I'm sure he's just stuck in traffic. It'll be fine. The next award goes up, and
it's Best Actress.
Oh god. Yeah, it's Best Actress. And they announce all the nominees, and Esther wins. Yeah. She is shocked and so excited, and she goes up on stage to accept her award, and she gets about 2 sentences into her speech when clapping, like disembodied clapping, is heard from the back of the auditorium, and it's Norman
drunk.
So many sheets to the wind.
Yeah.
He's not mocking menacingly. He is so excited for her, but he is so drunk he does not realize what a spectacle he is making and what a bad move this is.
And he interrupts saying that he has a speech of his own, and he starts begging for work, and it's really awful because no one really knows what to do. There's no one to like stop it and like cut them. Like
there's no crisis team.
Can you imagine what would happen right now? Like they would cut the mic, go to commercial, like pull him off stage. There would be people there immediately, but because no one has done anything like this before, no one really knows what to do, and he ends up rambling and pacing back and forth in front of her, and then at one point she moves forward to try and take his arm, and he swings his hand back.
He's like gesturing wildly,
and he ends up
accidentally smacks her in the face,
and
the whole auditorium gasps.
Well, and that kind of shocks him out of his rambling as well. And
she's like, I'm fine, and that's what helps her move him off the stage. Yeah. And they go and sit, and you can see some assistant director like telling them to like move the camera, and like they start music and people start dancing. Really like, just discouraging. Yeah. And so she sits him down, and he asks for another drink. Cut to Esther in the middle of her next production. Yep. She's killing it. It's a long, high energy. It's called "Lose the Long Face."
It had big Newsies energy.
Big Newsies, big Orphan Annie Newsies energy, and they take a break to reset and set up for the next close up
of the same song.
And Esther goes into her dressing room to get touched up by makeup, and then Oliver comes to visit her, and she's so excited to see him because it's been 3 months since the Oscars, or since she saw him last, which might have been around that time. Yeah. And he's like, how are you? And she is just like, there is no facade. She is so overwhelmed by everything that is happening in her life. The fact that she's had to go back to work and pretend like everything is fine. And he asks about Norman, and she initially deflects, and then she admits to him like he's in a sanatorium, which is a rehab facility for the 50s. And he's working really hard to stop drinking, but she's bearing the burden of 2 lives right now. She's living for him, and she's living for her, and so much weight on her little shoulders.
She has a full breakdown, and it is, like, quite heartbreaking because, you know, she's in this, like, kind of childish makeup and in this... Yeah. And she's just, like, and, like, heavily over eyelinered because, of course, on film it looks fine, but, like... It just like really highlights this horrible moment of her just like I feel I hate coming home to him because I hate knowing that even though he means it, he's lying because of his addiction, and it's not an intentional lie, but it's still a lie because he's not going to stop drinking. And I hate that I hate him. I hate myself because I'm failing him. And it's horrible, and she fully breaks down, and you know, Oliver tries to get her like to help, and he's like, listen, would it help if he started working again? And he basically offers to put Norman into a movie, not as a lead, but like just get him back to have a focus again. And she thanks him, and she agrees.
She thanks him. It gives her hope again. And she does say to him, like, please be gentle with him, because truly all he has left other than me is his pride.
Yeah.
And he was this, in the height of his career, like this major leading man.
Yeah. And then
there's this incredible moment where she gets called back to set, and you see her getting into her position, like wiping the tears off of her face, like catching a couple breaths. Then they play back the music, and she has to launch into this exuberant, happy, like over the top, cheerful song.
Lose
and
That Long Face is the name of the song, and she does it. She's a fucking moment. Professional. But man, that little reprise like destroyed me. It's just like yeah, it was awful.
Acting, man.
Acting. And so we cut to Oliver going to the rehab facility that Norman's at and visiting him. And he is tailed by this guy that he calls Cuddles, who's like with him every moment of the day.
He's got to keep Norman in his sight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Rule.
Yeah. And Oliver ends up offering him this part. It's not the lead, but it's a good part, and it's important to the plot, so it'll be very memorable.
And Norman does think initially it's the lead. He's like, no, we've got this younger kid playing the lead, but like this is a really important role. Yeah, he gives him the script, and you see Norman's pride kick in. Yeah. And then he lies, essentially. He's like, well, I'm talking to some other studios.
I have this other movie set up, and I don't know if I'll have time.
Yeah, and Oliver's like, well, we're not going to shoot this for a while. Like, you have time. But then he doubles down on the lie. Norman doubles down on the lie. He's like, well, I've been talking to people in England, so I just don't know if I'm going to have the time.
And he's like, do you mind if I just leave the script here? Even if you don't play the part, I'd love to get your thoughts. Just as in, man, every olive branch he possibly can to get through to this guy. And Norman agrees, and then
not even an olive branch, but like life rafts.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Yeah. And and Oliver goes to leave, and Norman thanks him for visiting, and
he does genuinely thank him for coming to see him, and clearly it meant a lot for him, even if his pride won't let him accept this role.
Yeah. Cut to a racetrack. Yeah.
Play the song from My Fair Lady.
Oh my god, there's so many racetracks with rich people in musicals.
It's because rich people can afford horses.
Yeah, honestly. And they're just like, what's fun? Horses. And I'm like, okay.
Horses freak me out. I was talking about that at work yesterday. They're just so big.
Moose freak me out. In terms of like animals that are just too big, moose, terrifying.
Fun fact, moose are the last living megafauna of North America.
Oh! That's exciting. Did you get the thing?
You're welcome.
Did you get the thing that I sent you on Instagram with Viola Davis?
The frog.
The frogs.
Dear listeners, for context, Grace really wants to get a dumb frog tattoo, and I am thwarting her in every
turn. And then Viola Davis posted this really positive thing, but it was told by a dumb frog, and I'm just like, Anna, if Viola.
But okay, there's one thing to post a positive message with a frog. It's another, if Viola Davis got a dumb frog tattoo,
would you let
then
me get
you can have a dumb yes, okay. Yes, I would.
Good, I'm glad. Thank you. Now that I know the parameters, I must meet Viola Davis and convince her to get a dumb frog tattoo.
Norman is out of rehab and is at a racetrack during the day, and he's dressed up nicely, and he sees a lot of people he knows, and he goes up and he tries to start conversations, and everyone kind of gives him the cold shoulder because it's been several months. He had a very, very televised public humiliation, and no one's super keen to invite him into like their conversation. Yeah. So he goes to the bar and he orders a ginger ale, and the bartender's like, all right, ginger ale and what? And he goes, ginger ale and ginger ale. Yeah. Like, this is
new leaf, new me,
I'm
new
doubling
book.
down
Here
on
we
this.
And Libby's
and then
there.
Fucking Libby's there, and Libby goes up to the bar, and Norman greets him, and Libby's just like, now is the time that I unleash all of my pent up frustration onto you.
Yeah. And
he's just so shitty to him.
He's very shitty to him, and the button that he's pushing is, oh, well, you're a kept man now. Why are you so upset? Like, your wife, you can just live off of her money. Like,
your wife can support you now, which, like, between
again his pride.
Norman's pride, and also just like dumb societal tropes of the 50s.
Yeah. It's not great.
He was emasculating.
Yeah.
And Norman
I don't know how this
can't take
fight,
it.
like, does Norman push Libby and then Libby punches him?
Norman, like, tries to grapple Libby and, like, gets his forearm, like, as if he's gonna, like, strike him across the face, but, like, gets him, like, underneath his chin, and then Libby's probably got, like,
Libby's huge.
100 pounds on Norman easily, and just, like, punches him to the ground.
Yeah.
And it looks like he breaks his nose, or, like, breaks his lip open or something.
Yeah.
It's a rough punch.
A crowd comes and like surrounds Norman, but Libby's kind of ignored, and we hear a bunch of one-liners from people in the crowd. It's like, oh, it's just Norman, he's just drunk again. I don't understand how Vicky puts up with him. Oh, I don't want to be seen with this. Let's go away now. Like, there's a lot of that. And Norman goes to the bar and orders a double scotch and throws it back.
Yeah. All it took was
one punch, man.
God, one punch. Anyway, cut to
4
Esther
days
and
later.
Norman's home. We don't know that yet, but we cut to Esther's home. It's Christmas time. There's a Christmas tree. She's waiting. She's walking, like, pacing around her living room. Oliver's there. And we learn that Norman has been missing for 4 days.
Yeah.
And Esther is just beside herself.
Oh,
the phone rings.
So scared.
And she can't even answer the phone. Oliver answers the phone. And it turns out Norman's been arrested on a drunken disorderly charge. And they can try to go get him at the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver goes. And Esther pretty much forces him to take her with him. Like, he does not want to.
Yeah, he's like,
no
what
place
about
for a
the
lady."
press? And she's like, I don't care about that. And so she goes to the jailhouse, and Oliver tries to get Norman before any sort of trial or judgment or anything.
Or just slip $100 across the judge's desk and, like, get him out before.
And the judge says
no. Is a known hard ass. So Norman is brought into the court with, like, 50 other dudes who are in the holding cell with him.
Yep.
And they get called up one by one. Esther and Oliver are in the gallery.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Norman's name is Esther Gubbins. He gets called up. They read the charges. It wasn't just drunken disorder. Like, he crashed his car.
He almost hit someone else, resisted arrest.
Yeah, he resisted arrest. He, like, injured one of the officers that arrested him. And it's at this point that the judge is also like, hey, weren't you that actor Norman Maine? Like, were.
Yeah.
Very much clearly, not
past.
you were that actor Norman Maine. And he admits that he is. And the judge just lays into him of, like, you had all the resources.
You had more resources than any guy here.
Anybody in this courtroom, yeah. And the fact that you're here, like, the judge lays him down with, like, 90 days in the county jail or the city jail. Yeah. And that's when Esther stands up. She begs the judge in front of everybody, being like, I'm his wife. And the judge immediately knows who she is because she's incredibly famous. And she goes, please, I will be responsible for him. Please don't put him in jail. Mm-hmm. And the judge is like, do you understand what that you're asking? Like, you will be responsible for him.
Like,
he has
per the court.
Proven.
Yeah,
per the course. And she's like, yes, I understand that. And the judge allows him to be remitted into the custody of his wife.
Yeah. And so we cut to their house. Norman is in bed, and Vicky sort of
they've, like, tucked him into bed.
And she goes out to the balcony with Oliver and has a bit of a heart-to-heart with Oliver, where she says, listen, I have to take care of him. I'm not going to be doing any more movies. We'll go away, and maybe I just need to spend more time with him. And Oliver is like, you're at the peak of your career. This is a bad idea. And she's like, I wouldn't have a career without him, and I owe him this, and I love him, and I want to do this. And during this,
and she says, like, maybe in 5 or 10 years we'll be able to work in like England or Italy or Paris, where, like, people don't know him. He can work there where people don't know his reputation as much.
Right. And during this, Norman has woken up and the window is open so he can hear this whole conversation. And
he hears everything.
And he hears Oliver say, listen, there's nothing left of him, that he's like a shell of who he used to be. And, you know, the drinking, like, as heavily as he did for as long as he did, like, the reason why his movies weren't doing well is because he had nothing left to give. He's not who he was.
A shell of a human. Yeah.
And Oliver tries to convince Esther to continue with her career because there's no point in her throwing it away.
Yeah.
Like, he's already ruined one person's career, his own. Like, don't let him ruin yours as well. But she's like, he's my husband and I love him and I want to be there for him right now.
Yeah.
And so
I love him. I feel sorry for him, but I love him. And Norman overhears all of this.
Yes. And so Oliver agrees, like, okay, it's your decision.
I have to tell you something.
Yeah.
In the middle of this very emotional crux of this film, they are on the deck, Esther and Oliver, and you can see the video loop in the background of the ocean waves change, and it changes the direction the ocean waves are going.
I didn't notice.
It fully, I had to pause and go back. They're just crashing this way to, like, dear listener, to the right. And then there's a bit, like a blip, where, like, the scene changes and they are fully coming from the opposite direction.
Oh no! Movies.
And I was just like, how did no one catch that?
How did no one
notice?
Sir?
You can't just flip the ocean.
And that wasn't even in the trivia, like, as a goof. I didn't see that in there.
Oh my god, it's so funny. Ugh. Anyway, despite that,
yes,
Oliver bids goodbye to Vicky. He was like, all right, we'll draft up a press release. Like, we'll make it we'll, like, spin it as best we can that you're going to be stepping away.
Right.
Then Norman wakes up, pretends to wake up,
right,
and he goes out. He greets Vicky. They reunite. She's so happy to see him up on his feet. And he tricks her into thinking he's okay.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm turning a new leaf, and I'm going to be one of those people that, like, goes for swims in the morning and the afternoon and the evening, and we're going to eat healthy, and we're going to, like, live our lives to the fullest.
And he asks her to sing for him again, because he's like, there hasn't been music in the house, and I will you sing for me? And she was like, oh, well, you go for your swim, and I'll sing while I make us dinner, and you can hear me through the window.
And it's a callback to something he said to her in the motel when he played the radio and then asked her to sing. He was like, well, you're my wife, so I have you on retainer, and you can sing for me whenever I want. Yeah. And he makes it cute. It's not adorable. Demanding, but he's like, do I still have you on retainer? And she was like, yeah, of course. So she sings and makes him breakfast, and then he goes down to the ocean, and he's I guess he was wearing his swim trunks, but he takes off his bathrobe and he walks into the ocean, and he drowns himself. Yeah. And it's so, so sad. It's
heartbreaking because you hear her singing for him while this is happening. It was really upsetting.
Yeah. I guess he
didn't want to be her burden.
Yeah.
And that's heartbreaking.
And she wanted him to be her burden, and he couldn't let her take that on.
Well, and this is part of, like, him just being so happy and excited for her career, and him hearing from Oliver how much he was holding her back, and that was part of it as well.
And how much he would continue to hold her back. Yeah. She's willing to throw away her entire career
to be
for
with
him. Cut to there's
Libby
a very brief scene
managing the press.
Oh god, fucking Libby. Libby sucks. We see him just, like, giving sound bites, being like, yes, it's a great personal loss to me. We're all so sad. The studio had big plans. We were planning Norman's return. Bull fucking shit. No, you weren't. We have a very quick scene of the funeral. We see Vicky in white, and we hear sound bites of her leaving, and all the crowd gathering, be like, there she is, Vicky, you'll be okay, you'll find another man. And like, people
give
like
us
trying to, like,
face,
grab,
and they rip off her veil, which is a direct reference to something that happened to Elizabeth Taylor when her husband died, and someone...
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
this happened to Elizabeth Taylor, where she was leaving the funeral, and a fan ripped her veil off of her face.
People think they're when you're famous, people think they're owed pieces of you.
No.
After this, Vicky essentially becomes a recluse. Yeah. She sees no one, she goes nowhere, she talks to no one, she does not work. Do not perceive me. Danny comes to visit her, and he's let in because he's a friend of hers. And he was like, hey, what you doing? We gotta go. She was like, what are you talking about? And she had agreed months prior to Norman's death to attend a charity function with him.
A benefit, like the one that she did in the opening.
Yeah. And she's like, no, I couldn't possibly go to that.
Yeah.
Have you missed the last 3 months
Yeah.
of my life? Absolutely not. And he's like, that's bullshit, essentially. Like, you are sitting here feeling sorry for yourself, and you need to attend this function. You need to be seen because you are the best thing. Like, Norman loved you so much. You are the best thing of his legacy, and you need to thrive in order to honor him.
Yes.
He would not want you wasting away mourning him in this dark house.
Yeah.
He died to save your life and your happiness and your career, and you are doing him an injustice.
Yeah.
And she agrees.
And she gets up and gets dressed, and she
goes
to the auditorium. Now, this is the exact same theater where the original benefit was had. And she gets there, she gets backstage, like maybe about 10 minutes before she's supposed to go on, and there are people there greeting her. And on the wall, she sees from the first night that they met, the heart that Hugh drew with their initials in it, that's still there. And she almost collapses, but Danny helps her up and walks her towards the stage. And we cut to the front where the MC is like, ladies and gentlemen, obviously in your program, like, we were going to have Vicky here. However, obviously considering events. And just then Danny comes out and like pulls him to the side. He's like, actually, never mind, everyone, she's here. And they open the curtain and she walks
Vicky
out.
Lester. And the audience gives her like a standing ovation. And
they're told, oh, this is broadcasting worldwide. Before you sing, is there anything that you want to say to everyone? And she says, hello, everybody. This is Mrs. Norman Maine. And this prompts everyone to applaud and give her a huge standing ovation. Oh. And that's the end.
That's the end of the film. That's the end of the 1954 A Star is Born.
Yeah.
An hour 15? Not too bad.
Honestly, I was looking at it.
We ran
sprinted through this movie.
Honestly, it needed it. It needed it.
I didn't want to spend too much time.
I did not. I gave too much time of my life to this film already.
And this proves this movie could have been shorter. So it was good. I thought Judy did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I thought the performances were great.
The performances were great. It was too long. It honestly didn't need to be a musical, or a movie with music. But obviously a lot of it was just an effort to be able to have Judy Garland sing more, which I will never be mad about. But honestly, I would say really there's only 2 songs that are emotionally important, and that's the opening one when he hears her sing for the first time, because it moves the plot forward and it gets him to want to help her career, and then also the song on their honeymoon whenever she sings to him
the motel
personally.
song.
That motel song. Those are the only 2 songs that I think are necessary, and the only 2 songs that actually had an emotional impact on me. That, and then of course her singing through the kitchen window right at the very end. I mean, this story has been retold 4 times for a reason. It is a good story. And we will be doing the Barbara version. We will be doing the Gaga version, not for quite a while, but...
I was gonna say, remember when I thought you were gonna make me do them in a row?
All 3 in a row? No. No, we'll probably do another one next season.
This version.
Probably in a year's time or so.
Because the plots are, I mean, the device is the same. The worlds are a little different in both the Lady Gaga and the Barbra Streisand one. They're musicians, not actors.
Right.
So the world is a little different, but the conceit is still the same.
Yeah. It's going to be very similar, and most of it's just going to be about the plot differences and the acting differences.
Yeah. Yeah. I was reading the plot summary for the Barbra Streisand one. And I don't think this is a spoiler, but I'll cut it. But I think his death is a little... He still dies at the end of all of them, but I think he doesn't walk into
It's
the
not a
ocean
suit.
in the Barbara Streisand
Yeah,
one.
and so I was reading the plot of the 1937 version, the original version.
He walks into the ocean.
That one
in
is
that one.
almost
Yes.
entirely identical. The main difference is that she's not a part of a band. She like comes from like Idaho, and her grandmother is a character. And
I saw that.
A lot of
Yeah.
the grandmother's lines were sort of divided between Oliver and Danny as her support system, instead of having like a family member be her support system. And so like that final moment when Danny kind of yells at her to like honor his memory by living her life, that's actually the grandmother in the original 37 version.
Cool. Well, not cool.
Yeah,
She's still getting
interesting.
yelled at, but
Yeah.
yes, interesting.
Shall we do?
Yeah, I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I have gripes. I was familiar with the plot already.
Yeah.
I'll never say no to seeing hearing Judy Garland sing.
Belt
So,
for the gods.
I'd love to do a little dramaturgy report. So we've seen this director before. This is George Cukor. He was an American film director and producer. We saw him in My Fair Lady.
Oh.
And we also
movie?
know him from being... Yes.
Okay. Because the writer
Yes.
is also My Fair Lady, but not the movie, I don't think.
Well, now you're making me second guesses.
Oh, no.
Yes, the Audrey Hepburn My Fair
Okay.
Lady. And we also know him because he was one of the several directors with Gone with the Wind.
Oh, no. There were
and
so
he
many.
was fired. He was one of the ones fired, but some of his scenes did make it into the final cut.
Yeah.
Our cinematographer is Samuel Levitt, who's an American cinematographer nominated for 3 Academy Awards. This was one of his first films. This was like 4. And he had a really long career, didn't have a lot of... I didn't recognize his films other than he won in 1958 for the Defiant ones, so only 4 years after this, which, considering this was his 4th film, like winning an Oscar within like 8 years
really,
of like, your work. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. That's it. That's all I have for a director and cinematographer.
Cool. So this screenplay was adapted from the original screenplay by Moss Hart, who was a playwright and a theater director, and that's kind of what he was most known for. So he got his first Broadway hit working with George S. Kaufman, and they ended up forming a partnership, and they worked together, and they did You Can't Take It With You and The Man Who Came to Dinner. Yeah, so their collaboration was quite popular, but he was best known for his directing for Broadway hits, and he directed the stage production of My Fair Lady. Yes. Now, this adaptation, there were a lot of people who worked on this screenplay that did not get credit. For example, David O. Selznick, he was one of the 6 people who also worked on the script that no one, he just didn't get any credit. Now, this movie could have been longer. So the first screen test ran 196 minutes. That is
illegal.
3
Straight to jail.
hours and 16 minutes. And the audience still fucking loved it, but they ended up trimming it to 182 minutes. But then executives were like, no, still too long. So they cut it to 154 minutes. But then in the release, they did a re-release with the stuff that we were talking about that they were missing the video but had the audio. They did a re-release of that, I want to say in the 80s, and that's what's available on Amazon and on YouTube, and that's 3 hours, 2 hours and 55 minutes. Now, the music and lyrics, so a lot of these songs were sort of taken from other places and put in, but the composer that's marked for this movie is Raymond Heindorf. He really just worked at MGM for most of his life, but I just wanted to talk about a couple of his other screen credits, which just to sort of give context for him within musical theater. So he also did 42nd Street, he did Night and Day, A Streetcar Named Desire, The Jazz Singer, Calamity Jane, The Music Man, he did Damn Yankees, Auntie Mame, Finian's Rainbow, and his final musical was 1776. So he did quite a lot and was quite prolific. So we will absolutely be seeing him again. So I'm not going to spend too much time on him this time around. For actors and casting, there were a lot of people. Judy was this was made for her basically. But they were trying to find who they wanted to be the aging actor, the one who was falling out of his prime. And at first they wanted Cary Grant. He, if you remember, we talked about Cary Grant about how he kind of got disillusioned with movies, and he read the script and he was like, yes, it is a role of a lifetime. I'm traveling with my wife right now, and that's more important to me. So no.
Yeah.
And the director was real pissed about that, and they did not get along after that. They had a bunch of other suggestions. They had Humphrey Bogart, they had Frank Sinatra, there was someone else, John Hodiak, who Judy Garland had worked with whenever she did the Harvey Girls. At one point, this is one of my fun facts, the director offered it to Marlon Brando while they were on the set of Julius Caesar, which was the year before, because Marlon Brando plays Mark Antony, and if you haven't seen that, watch that movie. It's so good. And Marlon Brando replied, "Why would you come to me? I am in the prime of my life. If you're looking for an actor to play an alcoholic has-been, he's sitting right over there," and points to James Mason, and that's who they cast!
No audition needed.
No audition needed. So funny. So, just to talk a little bit about James Mason. So, he's an English actor. He had a lot of success in British cinema before he moved to Hollywood.
Dear reader, you can absolutely tell he is British in this.
Oh,
he is not even trying.
Not even trying. He's very British in this. But he obviously was in A Star is Born, and this honestly kind of, I don't know if revamped is the right word, but like it prolonged his career again by this movie, because he got...
It brought new energy
because he got an Oscar nomination for this. So he was then in North by Northwest. He was in Heaven Can Wait. He was in The Verdict. As I said before this, he was right before this, he was in Julius Caesar. Right after this, he did 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He was in Journey to the Center of the Earth. So he worked for quite a long time. He was nominated for 3 Academy Awards in his life and 3 Golden Globes, and he ended up winning one for A Star is Born. A Golden Globe, not an Oscar. Now, one of my fun facts about him... So he was a devoted lover of animals, particularly cats. And he and his wife co-authored a book, The Cats in Our Lives, which was published in 1949. He wrote it and illustrated it, and he recounted humorous and sometimes touching tales of the cats he had known and loved.
A man after my own heart.
After my own heart. The fact that exists, that the book The Cats in Our Lives exists, gives me joy. Anyway, so that's the actor, James Mason. Ugh.
I don't know how to follow that.
I'm so
So, I'll be really quick with reviews and reception. This film earned $6 million in its release. However, despite the popularity, it wasn't considered a huge profit because it cost so much fucking money to make.
$5 million, yeah.
It's not really a big profit.
Not really a big profit here.
They barely broke even. However, it got very, very positive reviews. I have a poll from the New York Times which says the whole thing runs for 3 hours, and during this extraordinary time, a remarkable range of entertainment is developed upon the screen. No one surpasses Mr. Cukor in handling this sort of thing, and Gone with the Wind, and he gets performances from Miss Garland and Mr. Mason that make the heart flutter and bleed.
I agree with that.
Do you have any gripes in
singing and dancing?
Singing and dancing.
As I said, Judy Garland, stunning.
How dare I have notes?
I have no notes.
She's the only one that sang.
Yeah, she's
and
the only singer, and I'm fine with that. Thank you. I don't need anyone
There's
else.
ensemble singing.
Yeah.
There's ensemble singing.
But I will say that The Man Who Got Away, the big belty number that gets Norman's attention, she did 27 takes of that over a period of 3 days, and she refused to lip sync. She belted out every single time.
So is that a live recording then? That's in the film?
I don't know, maybe.
And it's all one take.
Yeah, she did that 27 times.
Damn.
That is vocal health as much as you can make it.
Yeah. Jeez.
And then the dancing, there was some tapping in Lose the Long Face that was kind of fun. Again, a bit of Newsy's energy, but she's not.
Newsy's energy.
She's not
a strong dancer, and I see it in her arms.
I see it in her shoulders. Her shoulders are very high.
She was in really loose clothing for Lose the Long Face, and she fooled us with the tapping. Yes. But in that movie, within the movie sequence, in her first film.
Yeah.
She was a chorus girl for a lot of that bit when she talked about like coming up the ranks, and I could tell she wasn't super comfortable dancing.
Yeah.
There was no waltzing.
There
we
was
got
no
no
waltzing. Yeah.
Gripes.
I didn't understand their relationship. I felt like there was no actual build-up or tension or like it just, I didn't get it. They just ended up, they weren't together, and then suddenly they were together. And I was just like, I didn't feel a build-up. But once they were together, it made sense. Like they were obviously very much in love, but there was no build-up. It was just kind of like, whoop, and now we're together.
If they had injected a little of Singin' in the Rain, where she's like, I know who you are, and I'm not impressed.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been fun.
Whereas she was just like, immediately like,
she was
oh
just
wow,
like,
you're
oh,
really
wow.
intimidating, and you're a Hollywood person, and you had taken an interest in me. Okay, we're in love now.
Yeah.
My gripe is I wanted a little bit of weaving in of him being frustrated with her success before we took such a hard left turn into him being shitty about her success.
Yeah.
It literally went, the scene before was him getting let out of his contract and him not telling her. And he's like, and he was self-deprecating for a lot of the early movie where he was like, oh, my film's garbage.
Yeah.
But
he was still
so supportive of her. Yeah, it was just really, really abrupt. And I knew it was coming, so it wasn't out of left field, but it felt very abrupt.
Yeah, I get that. And
for all I know, there was a lost scene that actually handled that, and they just didn't have the audio, so they couldn't do anything about it. Honestly, like, it's not a gripe, but I was very thrown off by the pictures with the audio behind
I
it,
was
just
so
I didn't
confused,
know the backstory.
and I clicked ahead a little bit to be like, how long do we get this for?
Oh yeah, we get it, and then it comes back.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, exactly the reason why is why I thought it could be, but honestly, I was just like, interesting choice.
Okay.
Do you have any giggles?
There's always a harp in a dream sequence. Don't be silly.
There's a harp in a dream sequence. Don't be silly. See, that was my moment of joy.
Ugh.
I had a lot of giggles of just, there was good one-liners.
Some good one-liners, yeah.
They had good repartee.
They did. Do you have any fun facts?
No. I ran out of time. I'm sorry.
I have one fact, which was kind of interesting, and I kind of want to double check and see if it continued on. So, Judy Garland and James Mason were both nominated for Best Actor, but neither of them won.
Yeah.
And these two...
She lost to Grace Kelly.
Yeah, and it was apparently really close by 6 votes, and it was a big upheaval that she lost. But these two nominations are the first time in Academy Award history for two people in the same film playing roles for which different people were earlier also both nominated. So both Janet Gaynor and Frederick March, who played in the 37 version, were also both nominated.
Version, yeah.
So I'm curious, were Barbara and Chris Christopherson nominated?
I don't know. I can find that out for you.
I can't remember. I know Gaga was nominated. Was Bradley Cooper nominated?
I don't know, Grace.
I'll look up Bradley Cooper.
I don't know. Okay, I'll look it up. Not at the Oscars.
Oh, okay.
It was only nominated, the 76 version was only nominated for original song, sound, score, and cinematography.
Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga were both also nominated.
Rad.
Yeah.
No love for Barbara.
No love for Barbara. Or Chris Christopherson.
Okay. Do you have any homework?
I'm just gonna do The Man That Got Away, her big song. It's really fucking good.
If you can find this for free on the internet, I encourage you to watch it in 2 parts.
Yes. Take the intermission.
Take the
intermission. And it is actually about halfway through. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes in.
It is. Yeah. Break it up. If it's something... This is not a film where I'm like, you must watch this.
No.
But I enjoyed it.
I did.
And if you are in the mood and you can watch it for free,
history?
Go for it.
Absolutely.
Oh, it wasn't a fun fact, but if I didn't talk about it in the moment, I wanted to talk about the ocean changing directions.
So silly.
And it's such an emotional part of the scene that I was just like, there's no fucking way. Then I went back and I was like, oh my god,
they
the ocean moved.
They moved. They Uno reverse,
Uno reversed the ocean. Anyway, that's all I got.
That's all I wrote. Yeah.
Holy Jesus. Well, this podcast was half the length of the movie.
So honestly, we're gonna cut more of this, so.
I know. Well, if you're still with us, This has been 5678, a movie musical podcast. I have been Anna.
I'm still Grace.
Oh, take care of yourselves and others. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know.